Hey team, welcome back to my channel. My name's Teddy, and in this session we're going to be going through a step-by-step crash course into how to do Amazon Handmade in 2022. Now, I think you can all agree, and we can all agree, that the last 2 years have been pretty crap, to say the least, and I think the less said about the last 2 years, the better. But 2022 is going to be a fantastic year for you and for me, and all our businesses, and we're going to get it off to a good start. And we're going to do that by getting our Amazon Handmade business set up and done in the right way. Now, Amazon Handmade is a fantastic opportunity, and I'm going to be going through in loads and loads of detail today exactly what the opportunity entails. So get your pen and paper out, because this is quite a long video, and I think you're going to want to take notes and you're going to want to come back to it, refer back to it. If you do want to refer back to it, make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the noties up at the top so that you can get notified whenever I do a new video, you know, if that's something that you maybe want to do. But if not, bookmark this page and we'll come back to it, because this is a long video and you're going to get loads and loads of value out of it. So let's get cracking. Now, if you have got tired fingers, or you are cooking, or you're shaving, or whatever it is you do whilst you're surfing YouTube, then what you can do is have a look at the notes section of this video, because I've written everything down that I talked about today into a long post. And you can go and access that in the notes, but please do watch the video, because the two kind of complement each other rather than just having one. But back to the content. So, Amazon Handmade. A lot of people who I speak to, they say, oh, Amazon Handmade is too difficult, or you know, it's too competitive, or there's too much going on, it's really difficult, you're doing loads of work on Etsy or whatever. These are all excuses. Usually what's happening is people are just worried about Amazon because they're worried about, you know, some of the problems they hear about Amazon. Now, some of these things might be true. You know, Amazon might have a higher return rate than Etsy, or Amazon customers might be a bit more demanding than Etsy's are and less understanding of the timescales for handmade products. However, Amazon Handmade is such a good opportunity because it's so big. Amazon Handmade has so much traffic compared to Etsy. It's so much bigger than Etsy. And you're going to get your products in front of a much bigger audience than you ever would through your own website or through Etsy. And we'll come into that in way more detail in just a second. But I think one of the main problems that people have when they're trying to sell on Etsy or trying to sell on Amazon Handmade is they just chuck their products on there and they just like hope they're going to sell. Like, that's never going to happen. You're never just going to be able to chuck your products onto a market or something and people are just going to buy it. Like, you've got to tell people that your products are there. Now, this is the main thing that I think people do wrong when they're doing Amazon Handmade. They don't do this analysis part. I'm going to come into exactly what I mean by that in just a second. But Amazon Handmade, it is competitive in many ways, but so is Etsy, so is everything. Life's competitive. I know people who are making hundreds, thousands, even hundreds of thousands of pounds or dollars a month selling on Amazon and Amazon Handmade. And some of them are doing FBA, some of them are doing, you know, the fulfillment themselves. There's a huge amount of scope and opportunity for you to do a product. Personally, I even sell over £20,000 a month just on Amazon Handmade, and it's still an amazing opportunity because of how much traffic it has. Just remember, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. Like, you're not really going to become a millionaire overnight. And like, if anyone tells you that you are going to become a millionaire overnight, just don't listen to them. They are scammers. But it is still an amazing opportunity. There's loads of opportunities for you to start making hundreds, thousands, maybe even more per month, and maybe even turn this into a full-time thing. And if your products are already selling on Etsy, for example, you could potentially just be missing out on sales by not being on Amazon Handmade. You know, if your products are already doing well on Etsy, there's a good chance they will do well on Amazon too. It's just, you've got to make sure you're doing the analysis correctly. Because the main thing, as I said, people do is they put their product onto Amazon, just hope they're going to sell, and that's never going to happen. So you need to do that analysis. And all of this stuff I'm telling you today, it can feel maybe quite intimidating. Try not to get overwhelmed by all of it. I'm going to go through this in quite a lot of detail, so you can come back to this, but try not to get overwhelmed. There's a lot of information here, but you know, Amazon isn't as scary as a lot of people make out. You know, Jeff Bezos isn't actually the most evil person in the world. I don't, at least, I mean, he might be, I don't know. I don't think he is. Amazon's a good opportunity is what I'm trying to say. So before we get started, let's give you an overview of what Amazon Handmade is, what FBA is, some of these terms I've been talking about. So Amazon Handmade is actually a category within Amazon itself. So it's not AmazonHandmade.com, it's actually a category within Amazon's main website. Now, this is great for you because it means that you're going to get access to Amazon's regular customers as well as Amazon Handmade customers. So this is a real good advantage for you that you get over Etsy sellers as well. And by selling on Amazon Handmade, you get to get your products in front of all of these customers that Amazon have. Now, Amazon have millions, hundreds of millions of customers every single day. So this is a really good opportunity to get your products in front of those customers. Now, as I said, Amazon Handmade is a category itself, and it's broken down into subcategories. So you've got like handmade fashion, or handmade jewelry, or handmade pets. So if you sell like little doggy capes, or amber jewelry, or anything like that, there's a little category for you. And Amazon, it kind of started as a bit of competition to Etsy. Amazon, they kind of want to crush all their competition, a bit like you're going to do when you start selling on Amazon Handmade. No, but Amazon wants to just like take over everything, I think. And it kind of started out as competition to Etsy. And they haven't really succeeded in that. Like it is different to Etsy. They have a different customer base. It's just slightly different to Etsy. Like it doesn't have exactly the same customers. And this is actually good for you because it means you can get your products in front of customers that wouldn't have seen them otherwise. The main benefit of Amazon Handmade is it's actually free to get started. You don't pay any monthly fee or anything like that. On regular Amazon, your monthly fee is $39 or £25, depending on where you are. But on Amazon Handmade, you don't pay that monthly fee. So it's actually free to get started. So you might as well sell on there if you sell handmade stuff. That's the same as Etsy. You do pay a fee when you make a sale, and that's called the commission. Now, there are some other things I've been talking about today are, you might have heard me say FBA. Now, what is FBA? Well, FBA stands for Fulfilled by Amazon, FBA. And it's basically Amazon's fulfillment service. And what you can do is you can send your products to FBA, to Amazon's warehouses, and then they handle all of the warehousing, all of the shipping, the prime shipping, all of that stuff. They handle the returns, the customer service, everything. So you send your products to Amazon, they sell them to the customers, you get the money at the end of the day. Now, this is a really good thing to do. It's great because it means that you get your next day shipping. Amazon customers love shopping on Amazon. They love getting the free next day delivery. Like I love getting free next day delivery. It's fantastic for me. So lots of other customers are exactly the same. They love getting that stuff. So FBA is the fulfillment service. Obviously you can't do that if your products are customized. So if your products are customized, what you can do is called FBM, which is fulfilled by merchant. I know, not a very original name, but it describes what it says on the tin. FBM is fulfilled by merchant. And this means you're going to do all of the shipping and the customer service yourself. There's benefits and negatives to each. Like the main benefit of FBA is that Amazon does all this stuff for you and it kind of takes out your hands. The main negative of FBA is it can be quite expensive. Depends on the size of your product, really. We'll come into the fees in just a second. But the main thing that you need to do with Amazon is the analysis. So the analysis is really important. A lot of people kind of forget to do this part. You might have heard me say at the beginning that a lot of people just put their products onto Amazon and hope they sell. That's not how it works. You have to do the analysis. It's really important. And this is how you do it. So let's go and have a look on Amazon and have a look at exactly how it works. So I've got up here just a product, yoga mats. Like this isn't a handmade product, I know that. But the reason I'm showing you this is because I'm showing you something that could be too competitive. And this is just a really easy way to show you how Amazon works. Now, if I look at yoga mat, I have a look down here, I start seeing some of the products for sale. Now you can see these ones are sponsored, so they've paid to be there. That's called pay-per-click advertising. We'll come to that in a second. But if we go down the page a little bit more, this is just an offers page, Black Friday deals. Now, this is the products that is top of the search results. Now, Amazon is basically a massive search engine, a bit like Google, a bit like Bing. All of these websites are basically just big search engines. The difference is, when you're searching for something on Google, what they're trying to show you is like relevant results to what you've searched. That could be an article, that could be a blog, it could be like a recipe, whatever you've searched for, that's what they're going to show you. Whereas on Amazon, they're just always trying to sell stuff. Like it might sound obvious that Amazon's always trying to sell stuff, but they are. They're basically massive floggers and they just want to sell stuff all the time. So what they do is they show products to you that they think you're going to buy. Now this order of products is called relevancy, and Amazon ranks their products in order of relevancy. And the relevancy, the most relevant product is the one that Amazon thinks you're most likely to buy. So in this case, in this scenario, I've searched for yoga mat. Amazon thinks the product I'm most likely to buy is this blue yoga mat down here. Now, this is really useful information to know because when we come to do our analysis in a second, we're going to want to know about this organic rank because nearly all products on Amazon are actually sold from the first page. So we want to see pages where we can actually sell stuff from the first page from. So just using this example, this is the products on first page. Now, this is why you need to do the analysis because you might think, okay, there's some products here they're selling, that could be good. But this is really competitive because you can see here, they've got loads of reviews, like 46,000, 33,000. This is going to be a difficult product to use to get on page 1 for because they've got so many reviews. Just think about how you do your shopping yourself. When you shop, are you going to buy a yoga mat that's got 1 review or 0 reviews, or are you going to buy one that's got 46,000? Like really, there's no competition there. Like you might even pay more for one of those. So this is a really important thing to understand. That's why I showed you this one, because it's got loads of reviews. So let's have a look at more of a handmade product. So beeswax candles is a nice one I go to because a lot of the students I've worked with have sold candles and stuff like that. And beeswax is kind of like a niche within candles. Really nice products as well. So if I have a look at this page, just immediately you can see, look at the reviews of the first one. So yeah, this one does have loads of reviews, 2,000 reviews, but it's not 45,000. And this one's, you know, they start to be in the hundreds. And as we go further down, they're even, you know, less than 100, some of the sales for some of these products. Like this one's only got 68 reviews. Now, this is a really great way to start doing the analysis. Like you see this one's got only a few reviews. Now, if you already sell products and you already sell them on Etsy, this is kind of where you want to start your analysis. You want to start by looking for your own products on Amazon to see how competitive the page is. Like if I look at the page and I see loads of products that are really similar to the ones I already make, and I can see they've already got loads and loads of reviews, that could be a really good indicator that this product is like really bloody competitive and you don't really want to be selling that. It's not the only indicator you look at, but it could be something you look at. Now, this whole process could take quite a long time for you to do. So luckily, there's actually a tool that I use called Helium 10. Now, Helium 10 is a paid tool. It can be quite expensive. I think it goes up to maybe $95 a month or something like that. But you can pick and mix the bits you want. And also I've got a code for a discount, which is in the show notes for this, which will give you 50% off your first month. And you know, a month might be long enough to do this research. And I'll show you exactly how it works in a second. Because what's so good about it is it just saves you so much time and it gives you so much more data than you could ever get from just looking at this stuff by yourself. Like I can't see what the sales are of these products, but if I go and use Helium 10, then it will show me some of this data. Now it's a Chrome extension, so you have to have Google Chrome to use it. But once you click up here, they've got a tool in there called X-Ray. So let's have a look at X-Ray and see how it works. So just wait for that to load. There you go. So what it's showing me, if you have a look down here, you can see some details about the product. So you can see the price, the amount of sales they're making, the revenue. Now, the revenue for this one here. So this one here, $53,000 a month. This is all monthly, nearly 2,000 sales each month. And that's this one here. So if you make a product that's similar to this, you could potentially be, you know, missing out on a slice of this $53,000 worth of sales. Now, you're never going to get anything like that on Etsy. Like on Etsy, a few $1,000s a month for one product would be a really, really high achiever. Whereas on Amazon, that's quite common. It's not that difficult to get to 1,000 or so sales just on Amazon. So by using Helium 10, you can see some of this information. Now, this is just one way of using Helium 10. Another way of using it to try and find like different products and stuff is they've got another tool called Black Box. Now, Black Box is this kind of filter that you can do across the whole of Amazon, and you can kind of put in your requirements in here to see what different products are doing. Now, this is more of a good tool to use if you want to find a new product to sell. So for example, if you look down here, you can put in like the monthly revenue. So you might put in 1,000 to 10,000, and you might put in the minimum price as $20 because your product needs to be at least $20. Otherwise, it's not going to, you know, make any profit. You can even put in things like review count and review rating. There's some advanced filters in here as well. I use this tool loads when I'm trying to find a new product to sell. Like it's not the only way I do it, but it's one of the ways I try to find a new product to sell. Now, if you want to look at the way I do all my product research, I've got another quite long video from a presentation I did about how to get product inspiration, how to find new product ideas. So I've just got a link to that above me now. So check that out later on. But you can put in loads of different filters, and I'll just do the ones that I've got in there at the moment. Like you can even put in there keywords, like I could put in here beeswax, for example, or I could put in here candle. Let's put in there candle. And then I can also, there's some other ones in here, brands, no, I won't put in brands, variations, no, I won't do that. I'll just leave it at that. Let's click search. Let's see what comes up. Yeah, and you can see here, it's showing me some products below here within the criteria I'm making. So for example, just by looking at candle, this candle wick trimmer and candle cutter is $27 and it's making $5,200 a month. Now this is potentially interesting information because you know, this could be a product that you could potentially source or make or something to sell on Amazon Handmade. Now, this is a really good way of getting product information. Here you go, candle wax for candle making. So you could make a kit for people to make their own candles. If you already make candles, it could be quite easy to make a kit. Again, another product idea for you to put onto Amazon, because you can see that this one is making 3,300 a month. Definitely take some time to have a look at this tool. If you've got any questions about how to use this, please just pop them into the chat or send me a message. Happy to help you out of using it. I love using this tool. I use it all the time. I think it's a really fantastic tool. Now that's just a quick overview of how I do Helium 10 to kind of evaluate the products. What you want to be doing is looking at the numbers. You want to see if there's gaps in the market. Now, I think if you've got lots of questions about this is just an overview. If you've got lots of questions about this, which I'm hoping you will, please just send me a message and we can go through them. But once you've done that, you need to think about how you can make your product different. Now, this is the point of difference, or what I call the point of difference, is really, really important. You don't want to just be copying what other people are doing. Copying other people is bad for loads of reasons. Like, firstly, morally, it's pretty questionable. Like, you don't want to be just copying what other people do. But secondly, even if you have no moral compass and you just want to copy people, why would you want to compete with someone on a like-for-like basis straight away? All you're going to be doing is competing with them when they've got more sales. Like, if your product is exactly the same as someone else, then people are just going to choose the one that has better reviews. That's obvious. So what you want to do is think about a point of difference. So how can you make your product different to what's already on Amazon? Now, this is another part of the analysis. Now, your point of difference could be a different color, or it could be the way you package your products. Could you do nice packaging? Or it could be, you know, the other products have really bad images and you want to just take way nicer images. Or it could be that you bundle your products up with something else. So say you sell a beeswax candle, could you do a beeswax candle and do another one with it? It's like a scented candle with it. So it's like a bundle of two. That might make it a bit more attractive to potential customers. So think about what that point of difference is. But once you've got that point of difference, what you really need to be thinking about is how you can either source or how you can make your products. Now, obviously, if you're in Handmade, then you're going to be making a lot of the products yourself. But if you're in Handmade and you want to start growing your business and you want to really get your business going, then you might want to think about outsourcing some of the manufacturing of your products. So in this section, I'm just going to go through how you can potentially outsource some of the manufacturing. If you make all the products yourself, maybe you don't need to go through this bit yet, but you still will probably find it very interesting because I think you'll learn quite a lot. This is kind of one of the more eye-opening bits of this whole thing. Now, if you are outsourcing manufacturing, Alibaba is the daddy. Like, Alibaba is the daddy of outsourcing manufacturing. But that doesn't mean you have to necessarily just find crap products from China that are just knockoffs. Like, you don't have to find crappy products. What you can do is actually find really, really nice manufacturers to make your products. So what you want to be doing on Alibaba is having a look to see if you can find manufacturers that can meet your really exacting standards from what you already make your products with. So I'm just going to bring up this section here because we're having a look at macrame, another handmade kind of product. And the reason I'm looking at this is just because a lot of people I work with, they make macrame and they do kind of macrame type products. So having a look at this page, remember the analysis part, we'll use Helium 10, see how it's doing. So we'll have a look on here and click on the X-ray button, and then that will show us some data about what's going on here. And this is going to give us loads of information about these products. So yeah, just having a look at X-ray, you can see from this data, there are quite a few products that are doing really well. Like this product here, this one's doing $10,000 a month, this one's doing $16,000 a month. So you can see there are already products that are doing quite well on Amazon. Now this is really exciting because say you make macrame, you can see there's some real serious sales going on here. But you want to, outsource some of your manufacturing so that you can keep up with all this demand. So let's have a look on Alibaba to see how that works. So what you can see on here is you can see lots of different manufacturers for the different products on Alibaba. So as you can see, some of these prices are quite low, like $1.70, $2, like some of them are a bit higher. But what you can do is you can contact a lot of these suppliers and get in touch with them to work out exactly how much it's going to cost to get your products made. Like, you can speak to them and give them your exacting standards. And another good thing about Alibaba now, and it's changing quite a lot, is you don't have to just find manufacturers from China. Like, for example, I've sourced products from Alibaba, some things I make, some things I source, but I don't source anything from China at the moment. My products are all sourced from India and Vietnam, but you can find some really cool countries to source products from, like down here. Like, they've got like Indonesia, I can click on there, or I can click on India. And a lot of these companies that make products in India and Indonesia, they have really high safety standards and really good standards for making their products. And you can get some really high quality stuff from here. One thing you do need to know is when you're looking at these manufacturers, you want to see which ones are trading companies and which ones are manufacturers. Really, you want to be dealing with manufacturers, especially if you're in Handmade, because you want to be in charge of the manufacturing process and you want to speak to the people who are actually doing the manufacturing. Trading companies are kind of like middlemen who will kind of speak to the manufacturers and speak to you and kind of be like an agent. Now, you don't necessarily want that. So if you are going to do this, make sure you're speaking to manufacturers. Now, a really good thing about sourcing from India or sourcing from Vietnam or Indonesia or something like that is that you can make your product stand out. And making your product stand out is what it's all about, because if your product's from China, you know, everyone sources from China. It might be that the people that you're sourcing from, those designs could already be on Amazon. You've got to be really careful about that. Whereas if you're sourcing from Vietnam or India, even Mexico is quite good as well, then it means your products are going to stand out a bit more because you're getting them from a different place and there's going to be different designs and different styles, and this is good. Another good thing about sourcing from these countries is that you can go and visit them, and this is great fun. Like, I've been to Delhi and I've been to Ho Chi Minh or Saigon in Vietnam, and this was great fun. And if you want to go back and if you want to go and visit these people and go and see how your products are made, then it's good fun to visit these countries. I'm not saying China's not a good place to visit, but you know, I want to go on Vietnam on holiday, or I'd love to go on India on holiday. It's great fun. If you are going to contact people on Alibaba, make sure you're contacting quite a few people, because it can be that you want to get lots of different quotes from different people. You don't just want to be going for the cheapest one, but you do want to be speaking to lots of people so that you can get the good advice. Now, one thing you do want to make sure you're doing, if you're doing this, is to make sure you get samples so that you can see the quality of the work, but also so that you can use it to take photos and things like that of the work. Now, this is one of the reasons I would like to speak to as many people as possible and order samples, because you know the quality of the work can vary and you want to see differences between the different price points. But obviously you don't need to be outsourcing all of your manufacturing. So if you are doing the manufacturing yourself, which is what most of you will be doing, then you don't need to be obviously thinking about this outsourcing section, but you do need to think about how you're going to manufacture it and how you're going to get your products to the customers. Now you need to think about how are you going to do FBA, or are you going to fulfill all the stuff yourself? So have a think about that. And also think about how long it's going to take you to make your products, because you need to get your products either into FBA or to your customer, especially if they're not made to order. So think about how long it takes you to make your stuff. Now, I'm guessing you already know a lot of this. If you're already selling on Etsy, like it's exactly the same process. You need to think about how long it takes you to make your products. But if you are outsourcing it, you also need to think about how you're going to ship your products to the customers, or ship it to FBA or ship it to yourself so that you can then sell it. Now, you've got kind of two options with the shipping. You've got air shipment and you've got sea shipment. Now, there's obviously a big difference in the price between air and sea shipments. Before COVID, it was much easier to do air shipments because there were a load of planes flying through the air and they just put their stuff on there. Now, there aren't really any planes going anywhere yet, so next year might be looking up. 2022 is going to be looking up. Big hopes 2022. I'm putting a lot of pressure on 2022, I think. I need to maybe dampen my expectations a little bit, but no, 2022 is going to be a good year. And hopefully shipping and everything's going to be sorted. But before, I used to be able to airship some of my products for like $4, $5 a unit. Now it's more like 12. It's pretty much completely out of the question. But sea shipment is quite complicated. Now, if you are doing sea shipment, you just need to use a freight forwarder. Now, the freight forwarder is basically like an agent that sorts everything out for you. I kind of compare it to like a package holiday. Like if you're going on a package holiday to Magaluf with the boys, then what you're going to be doing is you're going to book your holiday through an agent and they're going to sort everything out. Like the holiday company doesn't own the plane, they don't own the hotel, they don't own the bus that takes you to and from the beach club. What they do is they just organize all that stuff for you. And the freight forwarder is exactly the same. So they organize like the taxes, they organize the shipping, they organize the customs, all that sort of stuff. Now, definitely just use a freight forwarder. It's impossible to do it all by yourself. Not impossible, but like, what's the point? There isn't time in the day to think about this stuff. So I'm not going to go into that in too much detail now. This is an overview, but you need to organize your shipping. If you're doing your manufacturing yourself, the shipping you need to think about is how you get the product to the customer. Now, you can use, if you are using FBA, you can use Amazon's internal fulfillment to get the products to FBA. And they use UPS for that. And it's actually quite cheap. You can get your stuff to Amazon quite cheaply. If you're just doing the shipment yourself, you just need to work out whether you price the shipping in to the end price and give the customer free shipping, or if you're going to charge them separately for it. That's up to you. I would definitely recommend doing free shipping because people like filtering by free shipping, so you can up your price a little bit, add some free shipping options in there. Now, once you've thought about all this stuff, you then need to think about your profitability. Now, with Amazon, there's quite a few different fees, especially if you're doing FBA. Now, if you're doing fulfillment by merchant, just doing it yourself, then the only fee you really need to pay is the referral fee or commission. Now, this commission is on the screen now, but it's basically 12.4% of the sale price, and you only pay that when you make a sale. Whereas if you're using FBA, there's lots of other fees to consider. Now, you've got your FBA fee itself, which is basically based on the size of the product. So the smaller, the cheaper, and the lighter, the cheaper. And then you've also got the storage fees at the warehouse and one or two others. I've got some cheat sheets in the notes that you could have a look at to work out what your fees are going to be. But if you're doing it yourself, basically, if you're doing all the shipment yourself, basically your fee is going to be 12.41%. Now, once you've worked out your profitability, the next part you need to do is to write your listing and to start selling your products to your customers. Now, when you write your listing, you need to do your keyword research first. And one of the tools I like to use for this is called Cerebro. So I'll show you exactly how it works. So if you're in here, if you're in X-ray, so I'm in X-ray back from macrame wall art, what you can do is say I see, okay, this is my competition. Say this is like very similar to one I make. What you can do is you can then work out exactly what keywords this product's ranking for. And that's with a tool called Cerebro. And what Cerebro does is it basically scans a listing for keywords and then shows you some important bits of information about it, such as the search volume for a keyword. We're not going to go into it in too much detail today, but what you can do is get these keywords that have like high search volume, and then you can put those into your listing. There are, obviously Cerebro is one of the paid tools with Helium 10, but there are some free tools you can do this sort of thing with. Like if you've got a Google AdWords account, you could look for keywords on there. Like the keyword searches on Google and on Amazon are going to be pretty similar, to be honest. They're both massive, so it's going to be pretty relevant on both. So you can see here, like wall hanging, for example, this has got 13,000 searches, but that's a bit broad. You might see macrame wall art, there you go, it's got 1,457 searches a month. So this might be sort of keyword you want to get onto page 1 for. Now, when you write your listing, what you need to do is just make sure that your listing is written for both humans to have a look at and also for the system to understand. So if we have a look at one of the listings, I'll just close this and have a look at, let's have a look at the one that I was just looking at. Let's have a look at this one. So there's a few places on your listing that you want to get your keywords into. So you've got your title, you've got your bullet points, and you've got your description. So there's a handmade listing and a regular Amazon listing. They actually do look a bit different to each other. So we're looking at a regular listing at the moment, but I'll show you what a handmade one looks like now. But if you're on regular Amazon, you've got the title up here. So you can see some like macrame wall hanging. That's like a keyword they've put in there. And then you've got these bullet points. Now this is a section where you can describe your product, but also put more keywords in there. Now the keywords are for the algorithm to find you and work out where you are. But you do want to get your products, it needs to be readable by a human, because at the end of the day, it's the human who's got the credit card. So make sure you're writing a listing for a human and the system. You also want to make sure your pictures are really nice. Like this is a really nice picture. It shows you exactly what the product looks like. Like it's really clear exactly what the customer's going to be getting. But you do want to make sure that you are making your pictures really, really nice. And your main image needs to be on a white background, so make sure you're doing that. I've now just put macrame wall art, so the same search term, but I put it just into the handmade category. Now you can see there's even some real good sellers on here, like 2,800, 1,800. Like this is real good amount of money that you can be adding to your bank account each month. Just think about that. But if we have a look at here, we can have a look now at a handmade listing. So let's just open one of these up. And you can see the handmade listing is actually a bit different. So you've still got the title and you've still got the images, but you've got this section here, which, for example, you can do things like customize, which you can't do on regular Amazon. And then this section here doesn't have to be bullet points. You can actually put the description in here. And then you also get some extra details about your brand on the right. So the listings are kind of a bit different on Amazon Handmade and on Amazon, but the format is basically the same. You need to make sure that they're written for the human and also for the system to understand. Now the pictures are really, really important, because something like 60% of mobile shoppers just shop using the images. Now, this is really important information to know because loads of people just shop using their phones. Yeah, just think about how you shop yourself. Like I did it earlier, buying a new Kindle book on Amazon. I just do it all on my phone now. So make sure your images are really, really high quality. Like show the customers like more information like about the dimensions of the product, or show people holding it so that people can see the size, or show it up in your house so that it looks really nice on the wall. But just make sure your main image is on a white background. And then the next thing you need to do once you've written your listing and you've got your products on Amazon, you've worked out how you're going to do your shipping, you've written your listing and you've done everything and now you're really happy with everything. You're like, right, let's go. What are we missing? Well, we need to work out how we're going to get sales. Now, this is the most important part of Amazon. Obviously, you want to make sales because without sales, there's not really any point in doing this whole thing. So in order to get sales, one of the main things you need to do is get reviews. Now, you might think, how can you get reviews without any sales? And you're right, it is chicken and egg. You do need to make more sales in order to get more reviews, and you need to get more reviews, you need more sales, and it's kind of like a vicious circle. But what you want to be doing is when you do make a sale, make sure you're asking your customers for a review. Now you can't ask for a good review, don't be like, oh, please don't, if you like to leave a good review, if you don't, just get in touch. Don't do anything like that, don't do anything that could be dodgy. Just ask for a review, just be like, hey, how did you find the products? We really appreciate a review. And you know what, if your products are great, which they probably are, and that is the best thing you need to do to maximize sales, have good products, is then you're gonna get good reviews because they're nice products. Just make sure you're understanding the rules if you're gonna be asking for reviews in the product inserts, like a little thank you note or something. Now, you also need to work out your rank. Now, you heard me talking about rank earlier, the order that things appear on the page. Now, this is a really important thing to understand as well. The ranking is quite complicated, exactly how it works, and no one knows exactly how the algorithm works. But if you think that Amazon always wants to be selling products to their customers, what you need to be doing is giving Amazon products that they're going to sell. And what you can do for that is send Amazon traffic. Now, there's a few ways of doing this. Now, when your product first launches, you can do pay-per-click advertising. Now, pay-per-click advertising is Amazon's internal advertising platform. And what this does is it artificially boosts your product so that it appears nearer the top of the rankings. Now, there's nothing wrong with this. You do have to pay for it, so it might not be the best for everyone. And if you do too much pay-per-click, it can mean that you can lose money or not make enough money. So just make sure you're being really careful with this. But if you do want to do some PPC, I'd highly recommend that at first because it boosts you up to the top of your favorite keywords. So if you've done your keyword research, then you've said, right, I want to appear for the top for macrame wall art. You can do some PPC for your keywords, macrame wall art, and then you'll appear near the top for that keyword. Another thing you can do is if you've got your own email list, then you can send outside traffic to Amazon. Now, a lot of brands I know who I've spoken to, they've been like, why would I send traffic to Amazon? Why wouldn't I just send it to my own website? Well, the thing is, the reason you're on Amazon is because you want to make sales and you want to take advantage of all that traffic that Amazon has. But you won't be able to take advantage of that traffic unless you've got any rank. You won't get any rank until you start making sales. Now, if you start making sales, you start appearing high up in the rankings, you're going to start making more sales. Now, yes, your profit margin might be higher by selling stuff on your own website, but the reason you're on Amazon is because you want to make more sales and you need to appear higher up the rankings. So if you can send outside traffic to Amazon, Amazon love that. Amazon think that's amazing. They're like, cheers for the free traffic. Thanks, Teddy. You sent me some free customers, which I didn't have before. Perfect. Amazon loves it and they'll boost you higher up the rankings. It's a really good thing to do. I'd highly recommend it. You don't want to be sending them to Amazon all the time, but it's definitely a good thing to do. So say you've got an email list, Instagram following, this is a good way to boost people to Amazon. This is a good way to boost your rankings on Amazon. Now, once you have the reviews and you've got this rank, then you can start to raise your prices a bit and you're going to start to become more popular and you can start to get your product in front of even more customers and you can start expanding your range and becoming a more well-known brand. So that's basically an overview of everything that's how Amazon Handmade works. The main things you need to be thinking about are how you can make your product stand out. So have a think about what your point of difference is going to be. If your product is similar to everything that's on Amazon already, think about how you can change it. Make sure you're doing the analysis to make sure that people are even searching for the products that you want to sell. So say you sell candles, make sure people are looking for candles, but also make sure that you can get onto page 1. This is really important because if page 1 is too competitive, it's going to be difficult for you to make any sales because nearly everybody shops off page 1. Once you've done that, you've got to work out how you can make it for the right amount of money and whether you can sell it for the right amount of profitability or if you can source it for cheap enough to make sure that you're still going to have profit at the end of the day. There's loads more. If you want any more information about profit, leave me a note in the questions and I'll get back to you. But you want to make sure you're making money. Otherwise, what's the point of being here? You might as well just go and get a job. So just make sure that you've got enough profit. If you're sourcing it from elsewhere, make sure it's cheap enough. If you're making it yourself, make sure you're factoring your time in. Because remember, your time is important too. Then once you've done that, you also need to factor in shipping. If you're getting a manufacturer to do it, it's a freight forwarder is what you need. That's really important. Remember, they're the guys that are like the travel agents that send you on your holidays to Magaluf. If you're going to do the shipping yourself, then make sure you've factored it into profitability, or if you're charging the customers. Then you need to make sure your listings are awesome. Write really good listings. I've got loads more information about how to do a listing in some of our videos, so check some of those out. But once you've written your listing, you also need to then make sure your pictures are amazing. Take really nice pictures, make sure it's really clear, make sure your main image is on a white background, and just make sure that your customers are going to want to buy your product just by looking at it. Then you need to work out how you're going to get reviews, how you're going to get ranking, and how you're going to get sales. And all of this comes from things like PPC, sending outside traffic, having really nice listings, getting more reviews. This stuff is what's really, really important in getting Amazon Handmade to work for you. But anyway, that's it. That is my overview of how to do Amazon Handmade for 2022. And I know that your business is going to be fantastic next year. I'm really, really excited about next year because, my God, last 2 years, not been good. Not been happy, been rubbish, not been able to go out, not been able to do anything. I know some people have enjoyed it. I thought it's been crap. So 2022 is my year and it's going to be fantastic. I know it's going to be fantastic for you too. If you want any information or if you've got any questions, please just chuck me a question in the chat box. I know this has been a long video and there's been lots taken in, so please just ask any questions you want. My email's in the chat as well, so if you want to ask me any questions, just get in touch. And if you do want some more information about this, I do have a program called the Amazon Makers Program, and it's really good value. We go into all this detail in way more detail and you get loads of on-hand support. But if you don't want that, then fine, just ask me some questions in the chat box. Happy to help out. I love talking about handmade businesses, as you can probably tell by this extremely long video. But check out the rest of my videos, subscribe to my channel, turn on notifications, and let me know what you think of this video, and I will see you in the next video.